morning. Welcome to Weekends with Whitney. On today's show, me.
Meet Tully, one of the magical, whimsical creations of Clay Achee. How this Catholic high graduate followed his unconventional dream to become one of the few people producing puppets in the country.
Pull a string and I'll wink at you. I'm your puppet.
Then, just in time for Valentine's Day, DR.NICK explores the obstacles preventing some of us from enjoying deep love and intimacy. Plus, putting the super in Super Bowl party right here in Baton Rouge. But first, come with me into a world of imagination.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination.
100 bolts of fabric, 2 sewing machines, and 1 imaginative mind join seamlessly at Clay Achee's fingertips. What emerges is this: spirited, whimsical creatures that come to life with the touch of a hand.
Jim Henson was the only childhood hero that I had that I couldn't emulate as a kid. So like if I wanted to be like Walt Disney, I could draw. If I wanted to be like Chuck Berry, I learned to play a little guitar. I like music, you know. Mark Twain, I can read and write. I learned to read and write. But with Jim Henson, there was never a bridge to what he did until YouTube. So as an adult, I finally said, you know, I can figure out how to do this, I bet.
5 years ago, when he turned 30, Clay did figure it out, although he had no idea how to sew. You never took home ec?
So, no. No, I went to Catholic High. They did not offer home ec.
Even in high school, Clay didn't conform to the norm. But you've got to be one of the most unique people out of your class.
Yeah, I give Catholic High a lot of credit for that, in that I could have been a massive weirdo. I could have gone through hell in high school, and I didn't. The teachers and the staff were super supportive and even encouraging. I got to be art club president, and the other guys did not understand. It was a little odd, but they were all super. I mean, I painted the backdrops for the dance photos. I drew the T-shirt for the swim team. You know, like they made me useful. Oh. You know, and so I never felt this the sort of
weird
outcast,
artsy kid.
Yeah, weird artsy kid thing until I went to art school.
The acclaimed Savannah College of Art and Design.
And everybody was trying to out-weird each other, and I was like not trying, and so then I stuck out like a sore thumb. So, but yeah, it was weird being maybe the weirdest, going from being the weirdest person in a very conservative place to the most normal person in a very weird place.
He majored in film, then worked in the movie industry. It would be years before the puppets came along, but when they did, his 2 passions would collide.
I was working in the film industry, which I very much enjoyed, but I was an artist and I missed working with my hands. And so that's something film sort of takes away from you, is like you're crafting something with your hands. And so teaching myself to sew and sewing the puppets was a large part of me just trying to get back to like using my hands again. And then once you make a bunch of them, they start turning out good, then the problem is you've just got a bunch of creepy puppets hanging out and you have to do something with them.
Instead of doing live puppet shows, he filmed them.
That's also something Jim Henson sort of gave us. He was the first one to think of the television, the screen, as the puppet stage, right? So you didn't need a puppet stage inside of a television. The television was the puppet stage. And so I always appreciated sort of that advancement in the art. And so when I started filming them, largely it was just you threw a bed sheet up on the wall as a backdrop and made them lip sync to music. Just to do something with them, to do something with them. And then those turned out okay, those were entertaining. So then we started calling friends to help so that we could have more than one puppet in a shot at the same time. And then I built a set in our spare room.
That advanced to making music videos with local band Pacifico.
That was our first foray into something that was like, hey, professional. This looks like we know what we're doing, which was nice.
Then Clay met Barton Gilly, a local guy with a gift in animatronics.
Like, well, I wasn't going to do it. I don't really know how to do animatronics. And he was like, no, I don't know how to do it. I wasn't going to do it. I don't know how to make movies. And we were like, oh, we're the missing pieces for each other.
They gathered their pieces, made a short film together, and entered into a contest with the Jim Henson Company. Their puppettronics were revolutionary and won them a trip to Los Angeles.
Worrying never did no one no good, no harm.
We got to go out to LA and tour the studio, the whole 9 yards.
Come on.
It was like the trip of a lifetime.
While there, they met the small circle of other people doing innovative things in the puppet world.
We saw the other contestants, and we were like, we're the weird people who do this in Baton Rouge. They're like, oh, hey, we're the weird people who do this in Denver. And those are the weird people that do this in Toronto. And you were sort of able to go, oh, cool, they're out there. There's a community of people that do this. And so the unexpected thing, so there's a lot of wonderful expected things when you go to your hero's, home base. There's lots of wonderful things. We saw an original Oscar the Grouch. It was amazing, So there's lots of wonderful things, but the really unexpected thing was the other contestants and the camaraderie that got formed.
Even though Clay's blazing new trails with new puppet technology, he's not abandoning those puppets he makes without wires and remote controls. Like this one of his very first.
It was like keep him around. But, this was just remnants fur that I found at the fabric store in town. And you can get great deals when they get to the end of those rolls. But you can kind of just, you see they come with a dowel. And there's certain movements I like that they're very prim and proper and they prune themselves. It's hard taking care of all of this hair.
Speaking of hair, you're just beautiful.
Oh God! Oh God! Too fast.
Bad hair day?
Yeah, every day is a bad hair day.
Don't I know?
What's a girl to do?
Your eyes are a little bulging.
Yeah, no, well,
I love it. It's ping pong.
It's ping. It's a half a ping pong ball, and then her eyes were actually made to Velcro on and off, which they're usually stuck down really, really good. But hers were made to Velcro on and off because we realized that if you make the puppets kiss and their eyes are wide open, that it's creepy. And so we had to have replaceable eyes so they could have their eyes closed when they kissed.
So where do you get your ideas for what your monsters are going to look like?
The monsters are like my favorite thing ever because they make themselves, and that's the idea, is that there's a sort of pattern that you're following when you're creating the puppets. And all the monsters follow about the same pattern, but depending on the fur you use, the placement of the eyes is a huge part of character building, and then teeth and horns and fingernails and ears. All of those details can be sort of swapped out in any number of combinations so that every monster is its own unique. I've never made the same monster twice, even if it's made out of the same fur or anything like that. They can be their own unique creation, so that every time somebody brings home a monster, that it's one of a kind.
Do you have a favorite? And is it here?
No.
You really, you haven't completely fallen in love with?
No. In fact, people always ask me what the monsters' names are, and I always say naming a monster you're going to sell is like naming a chicken you're going to eat for dinner. There's weird attachment issues that happen. I don't do it.
10-year-old Fletcher Garcia is still trying to decide on a name for his new puppet. He worked for months to buy his puppet from Clay.
I got a green one.
Why green?
Because it just out of all of them, it just pick me.
Clay's puppets are wildly popular. Eyes light up with excitement, anticipation, and delight. Old and young alike.
Teachers, child psychologists, and grandparents trying to spoil their grandchildren are my bread and butter right now. They've done wonderful things for me.
Clay shares his love of puppets, not only here, but everywhere.
I'm trying to be very visible out in the community, and I did workshops, summer camp workshops with the Arts Council with kids. A couple of dozen kids that if they see me in the street go, "Puppet guy!" And I love it. I love that I'm the puppet guy.
So much, in fact, he's a volunteer DJ Monday through Friday on Baton Rouge Community Radio, WHYR.
The best FM dial has to offer. You're the smartest people in Baton Rouge because you got your radio tuned right. I'm DJ Clay. Coming now, Cheap Trick.
What he dreams of doing next is combining his puppets with music in a TV show.
Trying to do next is get funding so that I can shoot a pilot episode of a kids show that I want to do about music. And there's still a big hole for kids content, smart content that treats kids with intelligence. And I'm trying to create the show that I wish had existed when I was a kid. This is the show I would have watched. Hopefully, in a dream world, I would be bringing a television show to Baton Rouge to be shot, which is really cool because then, movies come and go. But if you get a TV series that lands here, then you got, 20 to 50 people that have long-term jobs that are all my friends in the industry. And, that would be the best thing ever.
Like Clay's creativity and ingenuity, the path and possibilities are endless.
The rabbit hole went way deeper than I thought it did. When Alice fell into the rabbit hole, she was surprised at how far it went. And as was I. I didn't think I would end up here trying to do such complicated things, but it's been a blast.
If you'd like to see Clay and his puppets in person, they're at the Arts Market in downtown Baton Rouge the first Saturday morning of every month. You can catch them from 8 a.m. until noon. There is so much to see down there. You never know what you'll come home with. And still ahead, Dr. Nick reveals what's preventing some of us from enjoying deep, everlasting love and intimacy. Then we'll take you to a local Super Bowl party. You just have to see to believe. As Weekends with Whitney continues.
Who says an old dog can't learn new tricks?
Do you want to learn how to inspire? Learn to fly?
Or learn how to drive?
Take a run around this park.
Or this park?
Or this park?
And we'll teach you how to dance.
And reach for the sky.
No matter your age, BREC offers classes to keep you moving, learning, and having fun.
Visit BREC.org and see how together we've made BREC better than imagined.
We are 2 days away from Valentine's Day, which brings, of course, up the subject of love. That wildly exciting romantic love, and then the long-term relationship love that changes in dimensions and yet scientifically is shown can be just as powerful. Dr. Nick joins us this morning, though, to talk about what happens sometimes when it's not. They talk about those real solid relationships and how enriching they are and how they still desire each other and want to spend time with each other. And yet, the reality is a lot of couples are not in that space. What happens?
Well, I think that one of the factors is that we can get stuck into thinking that we should be in our 20s with that high sexual energy or the first year. But then life really does start changing, Whitney. Children come, careers take on more steam. Play and intimacy tend to kind of become more backseat. And I have a theory, and it's just a theory.
Okay.
I have a theory that we compartmentalize the sexual intimacy too much.
Explain.
When I see a couple having fun at a bar and loving to have fun with each other, my theory is that they probably have great intimacy.
Does that usually translate into the bedroom?
That's my theory.
Okay.
Is that I think it can.
Okay.
To enjoy, when you think of great relationships, it would be having just as much fun in the bed as doing the dishes together.
Mm-hmm.
That there's an intimacy there, and there's a desire to be close.
Right,
It's
right.
just
right, that
a
person
theory.
brings out the best in you, and you're with them, and
in many situations,
your mood is lifted.
You could be on a roller coaster. See, I think part of the issue with marriage and partnership is that it just gets stale.
I know. You asked me that question before we started.
It just gets stale, and it can feel like at times it's using your phrase that it can feel like you're eating the same breakfast every day.
Yeah, let's put that into context. So Nikki said, Whitney, why do you think that relationships get stale? And I said, I guess it's like eating the same breakfast every day. At some point.
And I think that's an honest revelation. That's an honest revelation. But it doesn't mean that it can't have, again, an ebb and flow. And that maybe in this particular period, I also think that, again, couples need to vacate more.
No, what do you mean vacate?
Go out to dinner and get a babysitter. Go to New Orleans for the weekend and say, we're just going to play. We're going to leave our worries at home.
Okay.
Go to the beach or go do things that are just intimacy, not provocative, but intimacy engendering.
Yeah.
You're in a space where you're just like, wow, it's just me and you.
Sure.
Let's have fun and let's.
Well, okay.
Part of the problem is body.
How we feel about our own,
how we feel about our own,
or how you feel about the other person.
Yes, I think a lot of times we don't feel like the partner maybe is attracted to us anymore because we've gained weight. I think women particularly, help me if I'm being gender biased.
Right. No. I would say that women can shy away from intimacy in physical ways because they don't feel good about what has changed in their body.
Yes.
And you know what? If you talk to the guys, half the time they don't care.
Well, but I think it's only fair to say that there are men who can feel that same way too.
Sure.
Or feel that they're not, somehow the testosterone is causing problems, Or I remember this great story of the man who was in his 40s, went back to the gym and said he was going to really get into it, and he quit. And he said he quit because he couldn't be around all those 25-year-olds. He wouldn't accept the fact that he was in his 40s. Just couldn't go there. And I think that's real important.
Right.
You're coming up to a milestone. Well,
yes.
50.
Yes.
And I know you're never supposed to talk about that.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care.
When you look good at your age, I think you ought to talk about it.
Bless you.
Okay.
I do have mixed feelings about it. But I still feel like I'm 25. How's that?
That's great.
Obviously I don't look that way. Because I was taking a look at my derriere in the
derriere.
in the mirror the other day. I was like, if I just got like about 2 inches of lift off that thing, it might be where it used to be. Gravity.
And Whitney, we're just talking out loud about something that's obviously very important because a lot of people don't have any kind of intimacy, and it's just sad.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we need to move beyond is I don't need to fix it. That I am what I am, and I'm still, really, It's an acceptance of this is how the derriere is looking these days.
Things are falling in different places. But I can still be grateful for it and share it, right?
Yes.
And
still have great intimacy.
Right.
I'm not talking about you, but anyone.
Of course, because we are very hard on ourselves.
We're very hard on ourselves.
I know there are women who haven't been naked in front of their spouse decades, and they're terrified to. Look, there's sometimes I'm terrified to look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh my goodness, when did that happen? Where did those knees go? Are they around the ankles now? but I want to ask you one more question because I know you do a lot of couple therapy too, and you have couples who haven't had intimacy sexually in 10 years.
Or maybe longer.
Or maybe longer. Why is that? I know it's a very loaded question, but as you answer that, I also want to pose the question, should they just do it?
Remember my theory.
Okay.
If there's not that kind of intimacy, there's probably not any kind of intimacy in the rest of their lives. Which means, okay, let's have an enjoyable dinner and let's not fight. Which means you said something about you and Robert were going to get together and try to put up all the Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
That's intimacy.
Oh, okay.
Do you hear it? It's not sexual intimacy, but it's intimacy.
Okay.
And it's enjoying the most significant person in your life.
So,
and you go at it with that intent.
Okay.
Not this is a chore.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Not this is a chore. We're going to do something together.
And some people approach sex as a duty. You have to reframe.
Right. Because remember, sex, because it's such an intimacy that you want to have it in other aspects of your life.
Right.
Or it doesn't
or it's
have
a falsehood
the same.
in the other.
Or it's not genuine. It's not authentic. It's not I like you.
Right.
There's a like you component to I love you that I want to be with you.
Yeah. So.
And that's a struggle.
I think you answered my other question, which is we need to have the everyday intimacy before people who haven't done that in years and years jump in the sack and say, well, let's just fake it till we make it.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Go fishing together, get a double bike. I mean, I'm just thinking of all the ways you can just have fun with each other. Oh, wake! Now we're not at that level. Obviously, we're good friends. But Whitney, I got to tell you, intimacy. Let me just give you a quick example of intimacy. Intimacy is when you can call your friend or text your friend at 9:30, and she says to you on a Monday night, I'm in the bed reading, and I say, get up, I'm on my way, and we sit in the kitchen and we jam for an hour and a half, and we just have fun. That you hear the spontaneity in it too, and now you could have said no, but you come on,
come on.
Because we desperately need it, and there's a hunger.
Yeah.
You know, there's a hunger. But what I wanted to do was go wake up Robert, but I dared not because he was asleep.
I wouldn't go that. Reading.
I wouldn't go that. But you were up, so I was dying to go wake him up and say, come on in here. Let's have some spontaneous fun.
Yes.
Do you hear the intimacy in that?
Right.
It's just here we go with play again. But you and I love to play. I think it's critical.
Yeah.
I think it's critical.
I think it's critical
play in
every
bed.
Relationship. True. But I think it's critical in every relationship with your children, with your coworkers, with your friends, with everyone. Just because I think we get away from that. We get so serious with life, so bogged down with commitments and deadlines.
And you said it well earlier. The self-consciousness takes over. We become very self-conscious, and we can't just let loose,
Mm-hmm.
We can't be vulnerable because we're so self-conscious.
Yeah.
So that's the real goal, is again have that acceptance of where one is.
Yes.
In life.
Because it's going to forever be changing.
And I know 90-year-old couples who are very romantic.
Oh, I love my.
So I just want to make sure I close with that. I don't want to make it sound like, again, it can't be. We started this by saying it can be.
Yes. No, my parents are an example of that too. Right in their 70s. Yeah, they play, they have fun.
Do you
and I
see
think they had wild, crazy sex.
And they even work together a little bit, I think.
They do.
Some.
Now that's probably the thing that doesn't work the best in their lives.
Okay. Fair enough.
But everything else is really loving and enriching. Yeah. So yeah, they're a great example that it can happen. But my mother is quick to remind me, Whitney, don't think that there haven't been ebb and flows.
Thank you.
Don't think that there haven't been times that I wanted to push him off the cliff.
Or I wanted to tell him to sleep in the other room.
Yes, or maybe that she did tell him to sleep in the other room. but yeah, those strong couples always come back to the center.
Intimacy.
Yeah.
Great being with you.
You too. Hey, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
My love for you is
It's Tuesday, but it still is a time to do something special.
Right. And if you haven't made reservations now, perhaps yes, or go buy a couple of steaks or
do something fun.
Yeah. Unexpected. Enjoy.
Unexpected. Happy Valentine's, everyone.
More Weekends with Whitney after this.
Love is in the air, everywhere I look around.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
9-time winner of the prestigious Buick GMC Mark of Excellence Award. Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. Even if your favorite football team didn't win the Super Bowl, it was a spectacular, history-making game. And so was one local Super Bowl party. It is so over the top. I just had to take you there to see it for yourself. Have you ever been to this party before?
First time. It's the first time for everything.
What do you think?
Outstanding. I've been to 2 other Super Bowl parties with the NFL, and this is as good as it gets, simply because you have space and a beautiful scenery, and I can go home after the party.
Okay, what have you eaten today?
Everything. I haven't been there where the steaks and lobsters are. That's the one place I haven't been yet. I don't know if I have any room left.
What's most impressive about this party?
I always look at the people, because without people, no matter what you have, it doesn't measure up. And the people are really super. They're friendly. They're happy to be here. And I'm telling you, I'm enjoying it quite well.
What do you think of this party?
Oh, this is the greatest. I've been to this party a number of years. Wayne does a great job with the party. You know, he just loves it. He works at it. He's got great people, great restaurants, great food, a lot of great people here.
What have you eaten?
I've eaten anything they carried around so far.
I don't think my wedding was as good as this party. So I'm a little jealous.
It is the Super of Super Bowls, right?
I don't think my house is as nice as the tents they have with the chandeliers. Between the lobster and the fillet and the crab meat, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to cool sculpt myself down for the whole next week.
Are you taking any party notes, like next time at my party, or if you have a party?
I'm having fun this year. Next year I'll take notes.
I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Don't mind yourself and regret.
Did you do this in the Dominican before you moved here?
Oh yeah, I have 17 years making cigars.
No kidding.
Yes.
What's the secret to rolling a great cigar?
It's the blend and the cigar maker. You need a master roller, because if you don't make the right blend, you will have a really bad cigar.
No way my Sunday this week will live up to my Sunday last week. But coming up on Sunday coming this week, we are going to sit down with the doctor who wrote the book on preventing heart attack and stroke. Dr. Bradley Bale was in Baton Rouge recently and will show you how and why this world-renowned doctor has never lost a patient to a stroke or heart attack. Simple steps you can take to keep your ticker ticking up to 30 years longer. That's next Sunday right here on Weekends with Whitney. Thanks for sharing part of this Sunday with us. And also a special thanks to our new furry friend Tully.
Aren't you glad you tuned in to Weekends with Whitney so you could meet me? Back to you, Whitney. It's still your show.
I hope you remember that, Tully. We're happy you could join us this week on Weekends with Whitney. Hope to see you back here again next week. Until then, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or head to my YouTube channel, Weekends with Whitney, or my website, weekendswithwhitney.net. This morning, we leave you with a spectacular sunset this week.